a celebration of his life. He and I were a little bit closer than maybe some would realize. When I was growing up here in the Grand Valley, I would visit with Grandpa. And one of the reasons that I ultimately joined the Army was because of Grandpa and his stories of the Army Air Corps and all these great things that he did. And I moved to Omaha and things weren't going right, and I kind of hit a dead end. And I felt like there were no options. And and I was reminded of Grandpa and his experiences. So I joined the Army, and that was something that really did help to turn me around. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about Grandpa Reese, my entire life, every time I talked to that man, he was always positive, right? I mean, we all know him. He never said, but he never complained. He never said, oh, this, that. Toward the end, sure he did. He had every right. Toward the end, when I talked to him, he was frustrated with not being able to get out. Thank God Jim was there to take him around, right, and help the man out. And that's acceptable, but man, for his entire life, he never complained. And I think that each of us can learn from that. And, I've certainly tried to be a little bit better because of it. And now with him passing, it's even more prevalent in my mind to say, when somebody asks you how you doing, don't bitch about it. Who cares? Be positive, right? That's what Grandpa Reese always was. Every time we talk to him. Thank God for him, man, and his attitude. And I'll say this, that like 6 years ago, 7 now, just before my disability, in fact, he and I were having breakfast. I was over here visiting. We were having breakfast. I said, Dad, I think you were there. And I told him, he was asking about the boys, about Blake and Zach and Chad, our oldest, and my grandson, and all of that. And he asked how we were doing. And I said, you know what, Grandpa? I said, man, it's just going so fast. I said, it's like all of a sudden, everything's happening so fast. I just don't get it. He says, well, you know what, Randy? He said, you know why that is? I said, no, I really don't. He said, because when you're going downhill, you pick up speed. And I said, you're right. I said, so you're on the downhill side of life, right? He said, yeah, but it's not all bad. He said, just deal with it, And that's Grandpa, right? And guys, I'm so glad Mom, Michael, and Nancy helped coordinate this. You guys putting this together tonight so we could have a little gathering, just all of us that cared for him, I think, the most. But and tomorrow's going to be a special day. And Jim, I know you're not family, but my friend, thank you, and thank God for you being there for me.
And we have just adopted him,
so we don't have the paper signed yet, but it's real close.
Yeah. So I just want one more toast to Grandpa Reese. Grandpa, Godspeed, my friend, and thanks to everybody. Here.